Stop whatever you are doing. I want you to simply stop. If you are moving, find stillness. If you are holding tension in your jaw, let it drop. If your shoulders are hiked up towards your ears, let them fall. Take a deep breath in through your nose, filling your lungs until they press against your ribs, and hold it, hold it, hold it, and now release it slowly, pushing every atom of air out until you are empty. We are going to do that again. Breathe in, deeper this time. Imagine you are inhaling courage. Hold it. And breathe out. Imagine you are exhaling the mask you have been wearing all day. I know you've been exhausted. You know me. You know this voice. I am Chrissy. And for a long time, you have known me as a woman who brings you light. You have tuned in to hear the optimism. You have tuned in to get that spark of energy that helps you face your morning commute or your laundry or the silence of your own home. Usually, I'm here to share my life experiences so you can get the advantage beforehand. That has been our deal, hasn't it? I live it. I learn from it. I package it. I package it up in a bright, shiny box, and I hand it to you so you can skip the pain and get straight to the lesson. But today, the deal changes. Today, I am breaking the contract of expectation because I realized something last night. Something that shook me to my core. I realized that by giving you only the light, I am denying you the truth of the shadows that make the light possible. I realized that I have deep secrets inside of me. Some dark, secrets that have been festering in the quiet places of my soul, waiting for permission to speak. I recorded a video for my producer tonight. It was late. The house was quiet. The kind of quiet that rings in your ears. And I told him I couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't turn on a microphone and pretend that everything is just a matter of a positive mindset and a cup of coffee. I told him about the weight I carry. I expected him to tell me to take a vacation. Honestly, if he really knew me, he would have told me to go back to rehab. I expected him to tell me to hide it. But though he did know me, because he didn't. He looked me in the eye through that lens. He told me that I need to make an episode about these very things. He told me that this is what you need, not the polished version, not the safe version, but the truth. So today, you are going to help me write this podcast by listening. You are co-creating this space by bearing witness. You are giving these words form. The message I got, the message that is burning in my chest right now is this. This is me. Raw, no cut. There is no editor here today to save us from the awkward pauses. There is no music to swell and tell you how to feel. There is only my voice and the beating of your own heart. And as you listen to the timbre of my voice, you might begin to notice a heaviness, a gravity, That is okay. Let yourself sink into it because we are going to go deep. You see, Shaitan introduced me to the Most High, the Elohim. I want you to pause and let that sentence settle in your mind. It is a paradox, isn't it? We are taught that the light and the dark are enemies. We are taught to run from the darkness to find God, but my story is different. My story is that the darkness was the usher. Let that marinate. My story is that the darkness was the usher. You see, the Shaitan, the adversary, the embodiment of evil, he was the one who introduced me to the necessity of the Elohim. Because when you are thrown into a pit so deep that human hands cannot reach you, you stop looking for human help. You stop looking for a savior with skin. You start looking for the source of all things. And the Elohim met me where I was. You see, the gods did not wait for me to be clean. The gods did not wait for me to be whole. The Elohim came down into the mud, into the shame, into the terror, and sat with me. I got a story to tell. And my story goes a little something like this. I want you to imagine a child, a little girl, 4 years old. Think about the innocence of 4. At 4, the world is supposed to be magic. It is supposed to be safe. At 4, you are just learning that you are a person separate from your parents. But at 4, I was introduced to something else. I've been getting molested since the age of 4. I want you to breathe through that. I know it catches the throat. I know it makes the stomach turn. But I need you to stay with me. I need you to see her. She didn't have the words for it. She didn't have the concepts. She only knew that her boundaries, which were just beginning to form, were being erased. She was being taught that her body was not her own. She was being taught that she existed to be used. And if it had stopped there, it would have been a tragedy. But it didn't stop. You see, the darkness is a hungry thing. Brutally raped at 8 years old, 3rd grade, pigtails, playground games, and rape. You see, the very crust of those things is enough to shatter a mind. It is enough to fragment a soul into 1,000 pieces. And that is what happened. I shattered. But in that shattering, something strange happened. The pieces didn't disappear. They just rearranged themselves. They hardened. I was put on pedestals. It sounds nice, doesn't it? To be on a pedestal, to be elevated, but a pedestal is a lonely place. A pedestal is a trap. When you are on a pedestal, you cannot move. You cannot be human. You are an object to be admired, an idol to be worshipped, but not a person to be loved. I was put on a dance stage. I was dressed up and told to perform. I was told to induce the world, to draw them in with a smile, with a movement, with a false light. And while I was dancing, while I was inducing, my gifts were being siphoned from me. I want you to think about that word, siphoned, like gasoline from a tank, like lifeblood from a vein. I had gifts. I had intuition. I had a connection to the divine. I had a radiant energy that was mine by birthright. But the people around me, the adults, the predator, especially the predators, the system, they saw that light as something to nurture. but as something to consume. They fed on me. They took my energy to fuel their own broken egos. They took my innocence to fill their own voids. I am an overcomer. I say that now. I want you to feel the weight of that word. It is not a cheap sticker you put on a bumper. It is a title earned by blood, earned in blood. I am an overcomer because I did not die. I am an overcomer because the siphon did not run me dry. There was a spring inside me, a connection to the Elohim that kept refilling the well, even as they drank from it. I am the very one who the Elohim told to simply tell my story. For years, I ran from this task. I wanted to be normal. I wanted to be the Chrissy you thought you knew. I wanted to be the woman who had it all together, but the Elohim kept nudging me, kept whispering in the quiet of the night, tell them about the darkness so they can believe in the light. I was raised by a missionary Baptist pastor, a man of the cloth, a shepherd. That is what they call them, right? Shepherds, herders of the flocks. But sometimes the wolf wears the wool. He was of a Messianic descent. There was a lineage there, a history, a weight of tradition. And in that house, under the guise of holiness, I was taught a terrible theology. I was taught to be a slave to the masculine. I want you to check in with your body right now. As I say those words, slave to the masculine. Where do you feel that reaction? Where do you feel the reaction? Is it in your gut? Is it in your chest? For me, it was a collar around my throat. I was taught that my gender was a secondary status. I was taught that the man was the head, the master, the voice, and I was the silence. I was taught to downplay my femininity. Femininity is power. It is creation. It is the ability to bridge the worlds. But I was told it was weakness. I was told it was a temptation when I would exude love thereof, the pure, unadulterated love that flows from the heart of a child of God. I was told to dial it back. I was told I was too much. I was told I was dangerous. So I learned to shrink. I learned to hide the goddess and show the servant. I learned to smile when I wanted to scream. I learned to dance when I wanted to collapse. And then I became a mother. There is no title I hold more dear. There is no job I have ever wanted more to bring life into the world, to protect it, to nurture it, to give a child the safety I never had at 4 or 8. That was the dream. That was the redemption. But the story twist here, the darkness, it wasn't done with me. For 19 years, I've had to be forced to watch others raise my children. I want you to close your eyes, please, just for a moment. Close them and imagine a window. You are standing on the outside of that window, in the cold, looking in. Inside, there is a fire. There is warmth. And there are your children, your flesh, your blood, the beat of your heart walking around outside your body. And there are strangers or enemy or people who simply aren't you holding them, feeding them, teaching them. And you cannot go in. The glass is thick. The door is locked. 19 years. Count them with me in your mind. 1 year, the first steps you missed. 2 years, the first words you didn't hear. 5 years, kindergarten graduation. 10 years, the double digits. 15 years, the first heartbreak you couldn't soothe. 19 years. That is an ocean of time. Now imagine that times 3. That is a desert of grief. I have stood at that window for a lifetime. I have felt the phantom ache in my arms where my baby should be. I have screamed in soundproof rooms. I have bargained with the gods. I have begged. I have fought, and still the glass remained. And in that exile, in that separation, I learned something that changed my theology forever. Now I understand. Yeah, that's right. Now I understand how the Elohim feels when the children of the creation falls by the wayside. I used to think that God was angry. In my case, that the gods were angry. I used to think that the gods was a judge or judges with a gavel waiting to smash us when we messed up. But through my own pain, through the agony of being a mother separated from her children, I learned the truth that God, or again in my case, the gods are not angry. The gods are heartbroken. When the Elohim looks at this world and at the wars, at the abuse, and at the lost souls stumbling in the dark, he, they, them, she, doesn't feel hate. What the authority of it feels is the ache of a parent watching their child fail. Only as a parent does the Elohim feel the longing to gather us up and the respect for free will that that prevents the intervention. I feel that. I know that pain. It is etched into the lining of my womb. I am an innovator. I have a mind that moves fast. I see connections where others see chaos. I build bridges where others see chasms. I am a creator, yet my voice have been taken. Or is it? Or has it? That is the question I pose to you tonight. They tried to take it, the abusers, the system, the religious structures, the legal battles. They tried to sew my mouth shut with trauma. They tried to drown me in shame so that I would never speak above a whisper. But listen to me. Listen to the sound coming through your speakers or your headphones. Is this silence? Is this the sound of a victim? Because even in the veils of darkness, even when they turned out the lights and left me for dead, I still yet survived. Survival is a rebellious act. To breathe when the world wants you suffocated is a revolution. To speak when the world wants you silent is a war cry. So this is crystal. I am making this as clear as I possibly can make it. This is raw. I am peeling back the skin to show you the muscle to the bone. This is uncut. No edits. No gloss. Raped. Beaten. And pillaged. I am not afraid of those words anymore. They are just words. They describe what happened to me, but they do not define who I am. They are the fire I walked through, not the ash I became. But yet still I stand. I want you to repeat that phrase in your mind. But yet still I stand. Think about the things that have tried to knock you down. Think about the betrayals, the losses, the fears, the nights you thought you wouldn't make it to morning. And look at where you are. You are here. You are listening. You are conscious. You are standing. Usually, I am optimistic and energetic during those shows. You know, that version of me. And she is real. That isn't a lie. I love life. I love the potential of the future. But a tree cannot have branches that reach to heaven if its roots don't go down to hell. My optimism is not naive. See, I'm not perfect. My optimism is not me being naive. My optimism is hard won. It is the flower that grows in the crater of a volcano. You heard Tupac tell you about the rose that grew through concrete, correct? But this time will be different. This episode is the roots. This episode is the dirt. I want you to feel the hypnotic rhythm of my voice. I want my words to wash over you like waves on a shore, eroding the walls you have built around your own heart. I am hiding triggers here. Not triggers of trauma, but triggers of release, triggers of empathy. I want to build a successful bond between my listeners, you and I. I want us to be more than just a subscriber count. I want us to be a legion of wounded, a legion of the wounded who have healed, a legion of the silenced who have found their voice. I want to make a difference here, a movement, something big. Imagine what would happen if we all stopped pretending. Imagine if we all dropped the mask at the same time. The sound of those plastic faces hitting the floor would be deafening. It would be the sound of freedom. I want to create a space where you don't have to be fine, where you don't have to be productive, where you can just be surviving. But sometimes survival or surviving is the most productive thing you can do. I want you to feel the empathy rising inside of your mind. It's starting in your chest. A warmth, a softening. It's spread into your throat, loosening the knot of unshed tears. It's moving to your eyes. It is undeniable. It is huge. Covertly, without you even realizing it, I'm giving you permission to forgive yourself for what was done to you. I'm giving you permission to stop blaming the child you were for the actions of the adults who failed you. You were 4. You were 8. You were innocent. You were not the shaitan. You were the vessel the shaitan tried to break. But the Elohim helped you and held you together with the invisible thread. I want to talk to the part of you that is still hiding in the closet. No, really. I want to talk to the part of you that is still hiding in the closet. The part of you that is still freezing when a door slams. The part of you that feels dirty. You are clean. Hear me? You are clean. The actions of others cannot stain your spirit. They can bruise the body. They can confuse the mind. But the soul is untouchable. The soul belongs to the Elohim, and the Elohim knows who you are. I want to go back to the idea of the siphon because I think many of you feel this. You feel drained. You feel like you are giving everything to your job, your spouse, your family, your church, and getting nothing back. You feel like a battery that is being used up. I was put on a dance stage. I performed. I smiled. And inside, I was screaming. How many of you are performing right now? How many of you are wearing a smile that doesn't reach to your eyes? How many of you are saying, I'm fine, when you are dying inside? Stop the dance. Step off the stage. Smash the pedestal. I am an innovator because I had to be. When the front door is locked, you find a window. When the window is barred, you dig a tunnel. When the tunnel is collapsed, you learn to astral project. You find a way. That is what trauma does. It makes you resourceful. It makes you creative. It makes you see angles that safe people never see. My voice have been taken? No. My voice was incubating. My voice was fermenting. It was gaining potency in the dark. And now that it is out, it is not just a sound. It is a force. I want you to think about the 19 years again. The mother wound. It is a specific kind of pain. The pain of the emptiness that was emptied by force. But I want you to see the endurance in it. To survive 19 years of torture requires a strength that is unknown. That is almost inhumane, honestly. It requires a connection to a power source that is limitless. I am standing here today as proof that the human spirit is indestructible. I want you to look at your own life. Look at the timeline. Look at the trauma points. And instead of seeing them as moments of shame, I want you to see them as badges of honor. You survived that and that and that. You are a walking miracle. We are going to build a bond, you and I. A bond of survivors. From this day forward, I want, when you hear my voice, you will know who is speaking. You won't just hear a podcaster. You will hear the woman who walked through fire. You will hear the mother who waited. You will hear the child who was broken and the adult who rebuilt herself. And because you and me, we know each other, right? And because you know me, you will know yourself. I want to trigger a feeling inside of you, a feeling of validation. A feeling that says, I am not crazy. I am not alone. I am not damaged goods. You are an innovator. You are an overcomer. You are a child of the Most High. The Baptist pastor who raised me, the Messianic descent, the structures of religion they tried to contain the gods in the box, the Elohim. They tried to make God male, angry and controlling, but the God, which God is all, the Elohim I met in darkness, the Elohim who sat with me in the aftermath of the rape, was not that. That God was expansive. That God was both father and mother. That God was love, love thereof. I am reclaiming my femininity. I am reclaiming my softness, not as weakness, but as a weapon. Soft water tears, right? Soft water wears away. Hard rock over time. My love, my persistence, my refusal to hate. That is what defeated the darkness. I want you to use hypnotic language patterns on yourself today. I want you to tell yourself a new story. Instead of, I am a victim, say, I am a veteran. Instead of, I am broken, say, I am mosaic. Instead of, I am weak, say, I am dangerous to the darkness. We are making a movement here. A movement of truth. A movement of raw, uncut reality. I want you to imagine a cord connecting my heart to yours. It is a golden cord of empathy. It pulses with light. across the miles, across the time zones. We are connected. You are not listening to a recording. You are listening to a lifetime. And I am holding on to the other end. I will not let go. I have hit triggers here. Oh, yeah. I have hit some triggers. Triggers to make you breathe deeper. Triggers to make you drop your shoulders. Trigger to make you... See, I'm moving too fast. Triggers to make you realize your own worth. You are valuable. You are necessary. Your story, no matter how dark, is a part of the tapestry of redemption. I want to talk about the silence again. The silence of the 19 years. The silence of the 4-year-old. The silence of the church. We are breaking it. We are shattering it with our voices. I want you to write this podcast in with me. I want you to write this podcast with me in your heart. Fill in the blanks with your own story. When I say molested, you might substitute neglected. When I say raped, you might substitute betrayed. When I say siphoned, you might substitute ignored. The details are different, but the frequency is the same. The frequency of pain and the frequency of overcoming. This is something big. This is the beginning of the rest of your life. The part where you stop running from the past and start using it as fuel. I am Christy. I am a woman in mid-ages. I have lived enough life to know that the sun always rises east, right? But I have also lived enough to know that the night is long. I am here to sit with you in the night. I am not going to turn on the lights and force you to be happy. I am going to sit with you in the dark until your eyes adjust, until you can see that even in the dark, there are stars. Even in the dark, there is the Elohim. The message is clear. This is me. Raw, no cut. You see, a Shaitan introduced me to the Most High. And I thank him for the introduction, because without the death of the fall, I would never have known the strength of the wings that caught me. I got a story to tell. And now, so do you. My story goes a little something like this. I survived. And your story goes a little something like this. You are surviving. We are the overcomers. I want you to carry this feeling with you, this heavy, warm, solid feeling of truth. Do not shake it off when this episode ends. Wear it like a coat. Let it protect you. I want to make a difference here, and I believe we just did, because for the last few minutes, we were real. In a world of filters and facades, we were raw. In a world of sound bites, we were uncut. Raped, beaten, pillaged. But yet, still I stand. And I see you standing too. I see you. I honor you. I love you. Love thereof. This is Christy. And this is the movement. Start walking. I want you to think about the word innovator. I used it to describe myself, but I want to apply it to you. An innovator is someone who introduces new methods, ideas, or products. You are innovating your own survival. Every day that you wake up and choose to be kind, despite what the world did to you, you are innovating. Every day you choose to break the cycle of abuse in your own family, you are innovating. Every day you choose hope over despair, you are creating a new pathway in the human consciousness. You are not just a survivor. You are an architect of a new way of being. The Elohim told me to tell my story, and by telling it, I am unlocking yours. Do not let the Baptist pastors of your life, the structures of descent and tradition, tell you who you are. Do not let the Shaitan tell you who you are. You define you. You and the Most High. I was taught to downplay my femininity, but today I am turning it up. I am turning up the volume on my intuition. I am turning up the key on my emotions. I am turning up the volume on my nurturing spirit, and I am directing it all at you. Feel it? Feel the wave of it crashing over you? For 19 years, I watched others raise my children, but I never stopped being their mother. Motherhood is not just a proximity. My apologies. Motherhood is not just a proximity. It is a spiritual covenant. And in the same way, I am entering a covenant with you. I am here to help raise you up, not as a child, but as a peer, as a fellow warrior. Now I understand. That phrase is key. Now I understand. Wisdom comes from the womb. If you don't have the wound, you won't get the wisdom. It is a high price to pay. I know. It is an unfair price. But since you have already paid it, since you have already suffered the hurt, grab the wisdom. Don't leave the store without the merchandise you paid for in tears. Grab the understanding, grab the empathy, grab the strength. I am an overcomer. I want you to whisper it. I am an overcomer. I want you to say it out loud. I am an overcomer. I want you to shout it in your car, in your room, in your mind. I am an overcomer. Feel the vibration of it. It breaks chains. This is crystal. This is clear. Usually I try to share my life experience so you can get the advantage beforehand, but some advantages can't be given beforehand. Some advantages can only be forged in the fire. The advantage of resilience, the advantage of a heart that has been broken open so wide that the whole world fits inside of it. That is the advantage I'm giving you today. The advantage of knowing that if Chrissy can stand after molestation, after the rape, after the stage, after the siphon, after the 19 years of silence, then you can stand too. I recorded a video to my producer tonight, and he told me to tell you, and I have told you. I have given you the keys to the cellar. I have shown you the monsters, and we have looked at them together, and we have realized that they have no power over us anymore. The Shaitan is a liar. The Elohim is the truth. And the truth is that you are loved, you are seen, you are worthy. This is me, Raw and Uncut. I want you to take one more deep breath with me. Inhale the future, exhale the past. Inhale who you are becoming. Let's do it again. Inhale the future, exhale the past. Inhale who you are becoming. Exhale who they told you to be. We are building a bond. We are building a movement. We are building a sanctuary of sound. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being brave enough to stay. I am Chrissy, and I am still standing, and so are you. Until the next time, keep standing, keep innovating, keep overcoming. This is the raw, uncut truth, and the truth has set us free.